once again, we are back from our little break. The beauty sleep has been had. We are ready to impress you guys with awesome topics coming into this game. We'll tell you all about it. And then Chile or Brazil is probably going to take it away and increase the gap a little bit more. I will say it again. Please do it, Argentina. Please. Make it spicy. Make us believe. There's a chance. You're not a believer. No one that's thinking with their head is a believer, but I'm thinking with my heart here, Felix.
Yeah, but thinking with your heart, I mean, as soon as you get your first heartbreak, you're just not going to do that again, are you? Maybe Argentina is going to be that first heartbreak, that first PUBG Mobile Esports heartbreak of your caster career, Corvo.
I think I had my first heartbreak in Argentina. Is that the next topic for the podcast?
Oh, did you? Yeah, you lived in Argentina. I think that's where your bias comes from,
claro.
doesn't it? Yeah, isn't there? Yeah. To be expected. Yeah, we met Argentina last year at the IESF World Esports Championship. This time around, it looks a little bit tougher. But obviously, the competition has changed. And with only top 2 going to Riyadh, it's just so tough. And we talked about this for hours on end. I don't even want to bring it up again. I kind of feel like I have to at this point because we're running out of talking points. Top 2 only.
Really?
In case you just tuned in.
Oh.
Yes, and the top 2 are currently 40 point... Not even 40 points, 41...
That's a lot of points, isn't it?
41 points away from not qualifying. That's how far Chile and Brazil are. And I think with Chile having slowed down in the last game, I think that is going to change to an even bigger gap with the way that these guys have played last game. They played super disciplined. They've been playing super focused despite their qualification almost safely being secured. So if they continue playing like this, there's legitimately no one that can do anything about this. Because that miracle that you keep talking about coming out for Argentina only works, like mathematically only works. I'm not talking about them suddenly playing amazing. That doesn't even matter. If Chile gets a couple of frags each game, then it's going to be mathematically impossible to qualify. And I mean, we keep on yapping about who's going to qualify. But I guess we're going to find out. Last 2 matches are now starting. We have Miramar. We had a hot job yesterday, Kovo. So let's get over to predictions. Who's going to win this game? Actually, let's get spicy. Who's going to win this game, Kovo?
Are you asking the heart or are you asking the brain?
I'm asking. Give me a little bit of both.
All right. The heart is saying Argentina.
Okay.
And the brain is saying
Mucho gusto.
Chile. Seguramente lo van a asegurar. Está finito. Estamos chao.
Amazing.
Yes.
Whatever you just said, that is nothing short of amazing.
Porque no liberaron la bestia, okay?
What does that mean?
I'm just listening to Twitch chat, all right? Because Twitch chat is saying Octi has just not been let loose at this lobby. And that's the problem Argentina is having, all right?
Interesting.
That's what Runaway 11 is saying. And he has to be right.
He kind of is right as well. I'm not going to lie. He's
He might be 13 years old, but he knows a lot of things.
Yeah. Where did you get the age from?
The 11. His name is Runaway 11.
So you mean
2011?
he's been born in 2011?
Yeah.
That's a big stretch. That's a big stretch right there. You know what also is a big stretch?
This parachute.
Yes, and also Argentina winning this game.
Oh.
But they've at least got the circle, so they will be positioned perfectly in phase 1, and I'm looking forward to seeing Argentina do something with the last game. They've been gate-kept right at the bridge from Chile, at that point, first-place team. Now Chile has been obviously denied that first spot with Brazil's performance. To be honest, I don't think we're going to see Chile trying to focus Argentina from this point onwards anymore. I think they'll be focused on grabbing back that one spot on the overall leaderboard from Brazil. Because as we said, they still took this round incredibly serious, and so did Brazil. And that goes to show you these guys want to take the one spot, and there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, like I said, love to see that. Love to see the discipline. Love to see them closing out games as well, getting themselves into late game. I think it's the best practice you can get yourself. Suriname, on the other hand, they've not had a good day today. They were much better yesterday than they have shown us today, and they are now just trying to take some fights, trying to take some early aggression, maybe get something going, hoping not to meet USA again. That's been their absolute nemesis throughout the day. And, well, that first aggression, that first little bit of contact has not gone their way. It's Dallas who picks up the first.
Yeah. It's been tough for them. It's been tough for United States as well, kind of dodging these fights, but I don't think it would be Ecuador, and I don't think it would be the United States, obviously, performing here with the players they have, if they wouldn't go aggressive again, and again, and again. And also, it obviously would be, for us as viewers, a little bit more depressing in terms of the early game. Talking about depressing, that was Dorian going down, unfortunately. Trent is going to pick him up. And that is a beautiful Molotov. Wow, this looks like an easy throw, but it really isn't. That's really, really far. And Trent makes sure to pick him up. He's being covered, though, by 80s. And 80s shot back down to around 30 HP. Maybe he's going to get away with it.
How good are ARs? How good are ARs? Taking them down to 30 HP. First aid comes through. 50 HP instantly again. 9 bullets left in the AUG is all that 80s has left to work with. But the SKS so much slower to try and get that flush there. Trent, he really doesn't want to stay on that roof, but he really wants to make sure he gets the flush. Now he's going to see the bleed out. He's going to know, okay, job's done for now. Maybe time to get off the roof, or maybe time to slow things down a little bit. He can still give them a ton of information from his position here. He just has to make sure he doesn't get taken out. He doesn't get found out on the angle, but there it is. Reposition to make sure he can actively keep playing that game, as they now have equalized the numbers.
Good stuff. As Ecuador is still looking to close this out. They've got kind of a weird split inside the city, with Dallas and Adagas obviously being on the other side of things, and 80s being all on his own. So he could potentially take the 1v1, but everyone is kind of slowing things down. Everyone wants to get into this fight with as much equipment as possible, and that's why they're continuously looting the buildings all around now. And yeah, Trent in the distance, you can see, still hasn't changed his position. He's being aimed at the entire time, so it's going to be really, really tough for him to move out of that building. So I think essentially it could be a 3-on-2 here if they are able to hold Trent there for the entirety of the fight. But it's, yeah, I mean, it's tough positions all around. I'm not even sure who's going to engage who. I think it's going to come down to a couple of 1v1s.
You've given up.
I have given up. Yes, I have. I think, look, no one's going to be able to cross to Hades because Suriname still has a player in the building right north of him, which is Hill. But also none of the players from Suriname can cross towards him because Ecuador's got players on the other side. So it must be 80s now. Engaging Sahel, and I think that's where he's looting towards as well. And as soon as he knows that he's in this exact building, I think he's gonna take the 1v1 as well. You can see 80s, he's heard it now. He's playing it cool, calm, and collected. At some point, he's gonna have to activate that trap.
They'll have to fight after some point. If they want to keep playing this game, we saw Achilles there on the map as well, not far off. Colombia's not far from this, but not interested to third party this until they see the lot more knocks in this and an absolute chaos unfolding. Then maybe they'll get into it, but for now they're probably just going to try and play this game. They're already in the blue zone as well. You can see on the little thing right below the minimap that these players will also be inside the blue zone in a matter of seconds here, as now the shots are coming out. 80s still stepping around, still hoping to find a frag. He's got a shotgun and a UMP. He's well equipped for this fight, but he's got to be careful of the timings. He's got to be careful of the angles if he wants to stick around in this. Tricky fight for both of them. But Pibbles has lost his 1 versus 2 on the other side, and that's bad news bears for Sahil.
Nade now coming out from Zahil. Barely misses 80s. But he's staying alive for the time being. But he's got the shotgun. What a peek coming out from 80s. That's perfect. And one pellet is all he needs. Sahil goes down. Headshot to flash him out. And Ecuador brings back man advantage. 3-on-1 now, actually. With the player being dropped in the meanwhile as well. You can see Dallas on 2 frags now. But they've lost a player, and so that round also will be a weakened one to start with for Ecuador. Then again, they've shown us today that it doesn't necessarily mean anything for them.
It's wicked, though. Trent, the one who's gotten the 1 frag for Suriname in this one. He's going to look for a second one, but the longer this takes, the uglier it gets for both of these teams. And it's pretty much just trying to do a little bit more damage at this point, as other teams are taking space inside the circle, taking positions to be playing out the rest of the game from. Completely different story for teams that are still in a hot drop. You can see Colombia as well. They haven't made big moves, but at least they've got all the loot they need, all the gear they need, and they are now in transition into this zone that they're coming in from a really beneficial angle. Can't say the same for Ecuador at all.
Yeah. Good circle for everyone that was already positioned on the northern side. For Brazil, it's going to be a pretty easy entry as well. So not only the northern side is going to be at a slight disadvantage, but advantage actually is what I mean. But also that eastern and western side. You can see Colombia rotating in through the hillsides around crater fields. They should have a pretty easy entry. And while everyone is finding a position inside the circle, there's a couple of teams still fighting on the edges. And that's all around Minas. Just east of the graveyard. Vados now opens things up. Tries to at least, but Yuka's there. Shuts him down. DBS. We've seen the weapon just not being able to be beat in so many instances, and this time it's not going to be any different. Panama now tries to back that up, but it's Winter being shut down too, so 2 immediate frags go in the way of Chile. And with Jesus being spotted, I don't even know he's going to be able to get out of this one alive.
This is looking a little dicey here. This is not looking like a position you want to find yourself in. There's another one. Portugal finds one. Eureka comes around the corner, and Chile does what Chile does best. They dominate in a team fight, and they dominate so quickly that they might even get out unscathed here. Potro is in a little bit of trouble. He has to be careful to not get caught up by the US, but if they're getting out of here in time, they might keep 4 up. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get out in time. Bad Boy is mighty close to this.
Yeah, I don't think so either, to be honest. And like this aggression once again from the United States, look how they set themselves up. 2 players up towards the southern side, 2 players through the eastern side of Minas, and they'll be rewarded for it. Kid takes down Eureka. And that's the first knock, not going the way of Chile, actually. Instead, it's going to be the United States. Then again, they know who they have in front. And they also know that they got to be careful fighting Chile, not only because they've been absolutely dominating this lobby, but also because Chile has nothing to lose anymore. And that might be dangerous. It might be maybe even more dangerous than their strength in and of itself.
Rough spot for them there. USA creeping up, unknown, getting themselves into positions before Chile can react. Argentina, meanwhile, sitting in one of the best compounds in the circle. They've had their pick, right? They've had any sort of chance they could have ever wanted. And if this isn't the game, then what is? Brazil picks up one in transition. Law again. Oh, it's the second one as well. Lorenzen finds one more. That's crazy. Law and Lorenzen pick up one each. But it's actually stolen away. There we go. First bit of good news for Argentina and the Argentinian fans. That's 2 picked up for Argentina. It's 7 down as well. And should be a nice and easy nade. Oh, the Nico just goes past Wako. The menace of the bridge is the last one to deal with here for Mystic. The pre-fire comes out. He has a nade, but he's got to cook this to perfection. And he's got to make sure it doesn't get knocked on the peak. Should have plenty of time, though, to get that into the back room. And that should make things easy to clean up for the Argentinian squad.
Yeah, good stuff. Good nades coming out. Argentina finding themselves 3 frags to begin this round. 40 points. 41 points to be exact. Maybe even 42 if you want to overtake Brazil. Is the difference. Not even Brazil, it's Chile at this point. So, plenty of more points being needed than just the 3. And with Chile having secured frags as well, I think 2 of them make that 43, maybe even 45. So, crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. It still needs to be done by Argentina to have a shot at this qualification, which is why we said we're so certain time and time again that these 2 teams will be going through. But it's not out of the question just yet. Brazil, these are the frags that really do not matter at all anymore in terms of qualification. Mathematically impossible for anyone to reach them but Chile, and even then they would only drop down to 2nd place. 2 frags in this round again, and it's Guatemala that really has this massive task now ahead of them, because defending this against these hungry players with the 4th Brazilian player now coming in as well, it's going to be almost impossible, at least judging by what we've seen so far from them.
They're fishing with nades. Look at that. That's a good bunch of youth coming out. Little boy is actually down to 1 HP. They're trying to line up another barrage here, but Brazil has clung to life for now. They're getting the first aid off. Law doesn't have one of those. He's got a painkiller, but it's not going to help all too much when you're down to 30 HP. Now the utils coming on back. All they need is 1 knock and they're flooding in there. That's Alex knocked from far. It's Jerry, out of all people, that opens the door wide for Brazil, but he actually does get the flush. Oh, that must have been on the outside. The mini actually does come through. And it's another point for Argentina. And that's a big knock. That's a big knock. He had a nade in hand as well. This is not good for Brazil at all.
No, it's really not that good. But they have Law still left standing, so it's not over until he falls, I feel like. And look at who's arriving in the distance. This is not a coincidence either. United States is trying to pick up every third-party opportunity that's being thrown at them. And they've already positioned themselves up towards the eastern side of it. It's already being thrown in. They want to get all the flashes they can. But it's going to be Fishy actually taking down Lorenzen, so that's going to be 1 denied for the United States. But I really like this aggression once more. Pika now chimes in, takes down the last player from Brazil. They will go out with 0 placement points. They actually make that maybe 1 placement point actually in 7th place. And only 2 frags being gathered. So Brazil not as exciting this game as the last one. They've been a little bit more aggressive as well. And they will fall at the hands of the United States.
How is Bad Boy out there? And how is he not getting caught by Argentina? We just saw them knock a Guatemalan player on the exact same spot, but I think he might have been a little bit closer to the building, and maybe the angle was a little steeper. He stays alive, comes in the building, actually gets a knock for himself. Clears out another player with the UMP. Maybe the smoke was just not visible on the free cam there. Maybe the fence was just good enough, but they stay alive for now. And with another circle shift, they're now towards the edge of it. They have a full Argentinian squad looking to close them out, looking to gatekeep them. But it's not an easy job. It's not free. It's possible. It's doable. But it's not free at all. And just like that, we're down to the top 5 here, Alex.
Yeah. Stage 4, phase 4, and it's 5 teams. All of these teams trying to grab as many frags as they can. And then there's Chile. Chile in the midst of it, making sure that even if Argentina picks up 20 frags in a win, and they've got 4 at the moment, that they will still be ahead of Argentina, even if they win a 2nd game in a row. Because that's what's going to happen. If Chile gets a 3rd, gets a 2nd, which is very likely from the position they have, then that means even 2 dinners from Argentina have absolutely no impact on the leaderboard situation. That's also got a sting. As Argentina right now, because they're sitting in this game and they know they've tracked the kill feed. They know that Chile is still very much alive with all 4 players. And they've also gathered a couple of LMs. So everything they've done so far has been for absolutely nothing, because that difference has not changed. Chile is on 4 LMs, Argentina is on 4 LMs. So if anything demotivates you more than this, it's got to be just going out straight up in the early game or being camped by Chile, which is what they've done as well in the very last games. Chile is playing this one to absolute perfection right now.
They just haven't liberated the bestia. You know, they haven't let Octi loose. They have 21.8% chances of winning this, and Chile has 21.9. Things are rough. The deck is stacked against them. USA, on the other hand, not looking super likely. Yes, they are 4 up right now, but they don't have a ton of space. They really have to find a really good opening here towards the Argentinian squad, and the more time ticks down, the less likely that seems to be. But Argentina has shifted all their players off to the north. Now there is a spot for Chile to swatch on through, to maybe have a potential angle to just slide on through towards that southern side. Do they go for it? Do they want that? Do they want to go for the straight up fight? We'll have to wait and see. But we won't have to wait long here, Felix.
No. We won't have to find the answer for very long. I think it's going to happen in this phase. United States now trying to figure out any kind of spot they can enter this. And this is the kind of United States I would have loved to see in the first day. I know I said this a couple of times now, but they just continue to surprise me. They play the edge, they play confident, they play fierce. Then they're not afraid to take risks. They're not afraid to take risks individually as well. Look who they leave Bad Boy with. Essentially a full 4-man squad of Argentina, while the rest rotates back and is trying to gather more angles on this approaching fight. And this looks nothing like the United States we've seen yesterday. Maybe in parts also because, once more, they fought in the early stages of the game for so very often. But I also just feel generally, even when they have gotten into late game, they've not shown this amount of fierceness and this amount of risk-induced decision-making. So, good on the United States. I like seeing that play. It's been fun to watch them.
9 day difference from day 1 and 2. They're driving into a solo member here for, I believe, what is Ecuador. Not sure if I saw that right. And they are clearing it out easily. Dallas, no chance, outnumbered, outgunned. Becomes the 4th elimination for the US-American squad, who really have bolstered their confidence today. Level 3 gear as well on Pika. It does help a little bit. The rest of Ecuador, you can see them on the minimap. They're looking into this now, but it's a little late. It might just be too late, because they have lost their anchor player in here.
Mystic. He's been hiding in this car for quite some time now. I think it's actually quite the smart decision. I'm just surprised that Chile's falling for it. Gotta be honest, I thought they were gonna be the team to figure that out, but as of right now, Chile's got no idea, as they are continuously playing in through that southern side. It's a slow stage 4, it's a slow stage 5, it might even be a slow stage 6, because no one's really forced into each other. In the meanwhile, we have Colombia stretching out. Look, this is the type of play that goes to show you, despite a team like Colombia not making any big strides on the overall leaderboard, look how they play this late game. This is the type of play only a good team is gonna do. This is the type of split that only a good team is gonna do in phase 5 and phase 6. Look how much space they have. Look how much space they're denying. And if a team like that, just based off of that macro play, still isn't contention for a top 2, not even close, it goes to show you how good these top teams actually are, how good Chile are, and how good Brazil are, even though it hasn't always looked that way. And even though I had that little laugh attack as well, thinking about how Brazil even got up to that point, or maybe even Chile got up to that point, excluding the big rounds that they've had.
Really good as well how they realize the threat. Because splitting wide is one thing, but pulling together at the right time is the hard part, right? And realizing you're going a little bit too greedy here maybe, and Chile, the team next to you, now has to make moves and has to start getting aggressive. That's the time where you pull it together, you consolidate your split, and you stay strong towards this late game. So really good decision making from them, and things you love to see as Chile is now looking for opportunities to weaken the team below them. Because if you're looking at the map, they have no space left here, Felix. They have to do something, but they don't want to do something until the teams below them have made a move, and that's Argentina, and that is Colombia as well. Or the United States, excuse me.
Yeah. I'm thinking about how United States is going to play this. I think no matter where they move, it's going to be the entire circle watching them. This is not supposed to happen in Phase 6, right? Usually it's a pretty good exit, but it only works if, plenty of other teams all around them are not just solely focused on you. And unfortunately, I think that's what's going to happen. I think as soon as United States leaves water treatment, everyone is going to be looking at them. Maybe the only way for that not to happen is if Chile moves on Colombia earlier than right now. And I think that might just happen, actually. You can see them grouping up towards the ridgeline towards the east. It's kind of the obvious play as well, but it doesn't need to happen just yet. But I think for Chile, it doesn't really matter. I think that just gives them more time to fight. And I think you can see it here already. Chile is thinking about this in this very second. And they've already put out the smokes to get that breach going. And from that point onwards, it's gotta be a matter of seconds, excuse me, before it happens. Nade's being popped out as well. It's the car that drives up close. They've got the P90 in hand. First nade pops, no real damage being done as the counter nades are coming on in. Killers, Malcolm and Legal on the front lines, with Molina supporting from the back.
Good damage coming out. The jumping shotgun over the top should do the trick. Gets the first, comes back and almost makes it inside. Potro's there and they take 2 instantly. Nice entries from the Chilean squad. As the nades were looking good, the nades were looking dangerous, but they have survived them now. Now the UMP can come out. The shots exchange. He's down to just 1 HP, but they've brought it down to a 2v1 at this point. They've gotten the power in numbers. They've got the P90 as well. And with the res that's already coming on through, this is a done deal. Chile has overcome. Chile has run this down. It should be a matter of seconds here. The jumps are a little bit awkward, but they close it out in the end. 8 elims already for Chile. And they are not just doing that, they're also putting themselves in the spot that is probably just winning the game here at this point, Felix. And just like that, Potro is able to peek on over and do what he does best, which is farm damage on range, put out knocks, put out pressure, as Argentina just evaporates.
Yeah, but also United States grabbing more frags, maybe even being aggressive against Chile right here. They've really got fire now. And I love seeing it. Yes, they lose 2 players in the process, but also pick up more frags. It's been 9, maybe even 10 frags now for the United States. That's as much as Chile has gotten in this round, despite them not having such an easy path inside of it. So good on them. Circle obviously kind of centers up. And who knows, maybe United States can still have a say in this one, depending on if they're going to be able to get Mushtaba, but I don't think that's going to happen, you can see. He's all on the open, just as much as Bad Boy is. Couple of easy shots as Chile takes down Bad Boy in the distance. And more frags now being secured as a result of that for Chile. These guys are unstoppable. Just when you think Brazil has maybe gotten the first place now, it would need a big round and Brazil to go out early. That's exactly what happens. Brazil goes out early and Chile strikes back with fears and a menacing performance as well. Winning every single fight entirely clean. And they just gotta be careful of not doing any stupid mistakes now. And that's not gonna happen either. Perfect crossfire. Team USA eliminated. They didn't know about his position. He was pretty smart about that as well. Good on Pika, but doesn't even matter. Chile drives through, plows through, and there's just no enemy to be found for them or Brazil at all.
On a different level. They're all on a different level. And they're fighting for first place. They're keeping it spicy, they're keeping it interesting, but they're keeping everybody at more than just an arm's length. They're keeping everybody at a few meters length. And the team like Argentina play another good game, they play a solid game, but they don't play a game that's good enough. Eureka, he's flying through these smokes, he's looking for maybe even a roadkill. The P90 on Elite will surely do the trick. The nade is almost perfect. It's a matter of time, it's a matter of seconds. They can throw this game away if they want to. They don't want to, but if they do throw it away, it won't matter. As you can see, they've already done the job. They've gotten the elims. It's another bit of a drive over. In the end, the P90 flies in, and they close things out. Chile, they're styling on it, Felix. They're having fun with it. They're loving it. And it's a 13-kill chicken dinner.
I thought it wasn't going to be possible to catch Brazil. I thought Brazil is going to get a couple of points now, and Chile is going to have a tough time breaking the bank, is going to have a tough time crawling themselves back. But, what do I know at this point? It's Chile and Brazil just back and forth, trading wins. And this time around, it's been Chile. 13 frags, as you said. That's going to mean 23 points. And we have another top spot again. I don't think Brazil has gotten enough points in this game to be able to hold on to that one spot. I think it's going to be quite different, actually. Let's take a look back at some of these highlights. As we saw Chile starting this entire fight in what looked like a good comeback from the United States. Because, yes, they cleaned Panama, but look what happens afterwards.
Yeah.
Right, it was the United States actually grabbing a knock on Eureka, but they went back. They revived him, and off of that position in Minas, off of United States closing the distance, they're able to still secure the win. That's how much strength, that's how much willpower these guys have, and that's how consistent and clean these guys play. Unbelievable performance from Chile all around in this entire qualification.
Can I take you back to the start of this match where you were asking for predictions? And I said my heart says Argentina.
Oh, come on now. Oh, come on now.
Chile.
Yeah, your brain obviously is one,
Yeah,
and
it's just,
I'm not bad about that.
huge.
I always thought your brain was your biggest strength. So
Yeah.
no worries.
Huge, massive like this.
Massive, big brain stuff.
Massive like Chile in fights, and massive like Brazil in rotations, and massive like the World Esports Championships in Riyadh in August.
And also the United States so far
August.
today.
No, not August. August is the African Esports.
Yes, it's November, but
Yeah.
don't worry, I got you. Don't worry, I got you. Just as much as Patro has got his team. He's been,
Crazy
I said it
man.
before, he's been the biggest part, in my opinion, on why these guys are standing back at the top. He's the most experienced guy out of this roster, so it's not necessarily a surprise. But then again, he's had ups and downs playing in PMSL too. So I was just a very tiny bit worried that he's not going to perform as much with different kinds of players all around him. But yeah, that mix of players from 9Z and Team Kazu has worked out amazingly well. And I said it before, if these guys will play in PMSL right now, I think they'd perform as well. I think they would easily have a top 5 spot in there the way these guys are fighting. Now, obviously it's early to tell, but 9Z has not been as crazy as Team Kazu has been in PMSL. So something is definitely working for these guys. And maybe, just maybe, that's also part of the reason why they've actually played with that mix of players now. Yes, the rest of the players from Team Kazu are not Chile, obviously from Chile, but I also think that, once again, it would have worked out either way. Because there were different options. There would have been Franco, for example, from Entity 7 as well. There would have been Maxi from Entity 7 too. So there's more than just a couple of players coming in from the Chile region that played at a really, really high level. But they actually went for these two guys, actively went for these two guys. And look what has happened. It worked out perfectly. 23 points, 13 points though for the United States. In my opinion, the winner of the day, excluding these top teams, but even including these top 2 teams, because that is a comeback that none of the other teams have been able to do so far.
Yeah, like a valid effort, and you love to see it, and you love to see them coming back a little bit. It's the second time now that we see them in the team head-to-head. It's the second time we see them in the player head-to-head. They've been putting up really good numbers here, and they've been showing that they're messing with the best, right? Mushtaba, 4 elims for him. We have a team head-to-head that's probably going to show you a whole lot of Chile, but also quite a lot of the USA here with 8 elims. Big bunch of damage, almost the same amount of damage as Chile. And yeah, I mean, big comeback for them. They're just going to be a little bit upset about how that first day went, because they've really put themselves out of contention.
Definitely.
With how poor that first day went. 71 points now. They might end up in 3rd here, but 2nd is just a different class. How crazy is that? It's almost double the points from a 4th place to a 2nd place. It's almost double the points. What is that?
I said it before. I think it's crazy how early that qualification was done and dusted. And I thought the difference, 41 points that we had in match 3 and match 4, was big enough to secure a lead, but I thought it was going to be closer at the end of the 6 games, right? Maybe break it down to maybe a 20, 25 point difference. It's now increased by another 10 points because these teams are not slowing down. There's no way for them to slow down because they're never in any real trouble. Usually how these types of qualification endings go is that one team is going to be heavily focused, too many third parties going on. Because if it's 11-team lobby, that is never up for debate. If you finish your fights fast, there is never a potential to third party. The very top teams will always be able to have isolated fights. And if you win these isolated fights because you're just better, and these guys are at the moment, then there is no way to come back. There is no legitimate way for anyone to come back. And that's what we're seeing right now. Chile and Brazil increasing the distance, despite being in a spot that is horrible to go into for you know, especially 11-team lobby and also into the last 2 games, because that could also work against them. If you can only have isolated fights, that means teams could be able to focus you. Teams could be able to find you on the map. They know where you guys are looting. They could find you based off of the kill feed, and then obviously breach you, get into fights. They have no worries of being third-partied. But if no one if no one is able to actually take you down, then there's no chance to benefit off of that either.
They've done crazy things today, and they've stayed crazy strong, and they've stayed crazy consistent throughout this day.
Yeah.
And consistent is a good segue to the timing of our breaks. We have one more break for you guys. It's the last break. It's the last break of the Americas qualifier for the World Esports Championship. We'll be gone for another 5 minutes, and then we have one last game. One last game on Miramar, one last game of this qualifier, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.